Good afternoon. So in preparing for today, I was thinking, or have been thinking about how do we plan communities to enable people, this word enable, enable people to be and do what they want and what they value for as long as they can. And I think that's the really important thing, for as long as they can. So how do we create an environment that will enable a good productive life, especially as we get older? The concept of the 15-minute city, the 15-minute neighborhood, the 20-minute district, you've heard these terms being thrown around a lot, especially post-COVID. In many ways, the 15-minute neighborhood has existed for centuries. The ability to live and work and have access to amenities within walking distance is not a new thing, especially before the car came along. People had to have access to all of these things that they had in their lives by walking or by horse. But now in the 21st century, the things that we require are slightly different. There's a shift. Of course, we still need the shops and we still need a doctor, of course. But it's a gym, it's a cinema, it's a coffee shop. It's neighborhood parks, which became incredibly important during the COVID pandemic, and a community hub in some physical or virtual form. But key to this is if you place all of these amenities in a walkable neighborhood, people will interact. They will build relationships, and they will support one another. And again, that came through during the COVID pandemic.
Can you share with the watching audience in terms of some of the examples from New Zealand and Japan that you saw in terms of the alternatives to care homes?
I saw so many. I've visited, I think, in total about 18 different facilities, but I'll be brief. In New Zealand, I was looking at the retirement village model, and I know it's not a direct alternative to care homes because you're looking at sort of different groups of people, but I think the point was that actually if people who live in retirement villages, and if they move in at a younger older age, they are less likely to need either to move into a care home or to need a sort of heavy or intensive care and support package when they're very old. Basically, they're supported to stay healthier and active and more socially connected for longer. So that was the sort of, I guess, an alternative in a way. Japan, there were so many different initiatives. The one I talked about was housing with care. I mean, similar to kind of extra care housing that we have here, if you're familiar with that. But extra care housing here is really only for people on benefits or housing benefit, whereas in Japan it was much more for a private market. So people have their own front door of their little apartment, but they have a care staff do provide support. There were things called small group homes for people with dementia. So about, I think, 8 to 9 people live in one home together. And it's very much based on looking at what people can do to contribute to the running of that home, take charge for the laundry, help with the meal prep, that kind of thing. And then other really quite innovative models of having a sort of centralized hub within a community, which had maybe 6 beds. But they have a membership model of about 30 people, and if someone is feeling a bit wobbly or having a bit of a crisis, they can move in to that hub and stay in one of the rooms for, I don't know, a week, get their confidence back, and then go back out again. But they had so much more to offer than just the rooms. There was a sort of lunch club, outreach services. I'm going to stop there, but I think you get the idea. I wrote a report.
And there's a really good article in the report that I think there might still be a few around. And for those online, you can download it via our website that you wrote about that experience. Stephanie, you were going to answer the second question, please.
Sure. So there are some really good models of incentivizing people to live with or near older adult relatives. In Singapore, they have some direct funding from the government. I think it's to the tune of $20,000 for someone to buy an apartment where they will live with their older adult relative, and even something like $10,000 to buy an apartment where they will live within 4 kilometers of their older adult relative. So there is clearly a recognition that it is a financial incentive to the government to have people in the family who can take care of their older adult relatives. Some places in the U.S., some states, we deal with this in with remote and rural areas where in many countries, younger people are moving into the city and abandoning those areas. Those areas are aging at a faster rate. And so we have some states providing moving incentives for younger people to move back to those states, to those areas. It's not necessarily directly connected with moving, being close to their own relatives, but it's certainly connected to being close to older people. And I think there's a lot of room for growth in that space.
Paul, my question to you is, you have an article in this report where you have a wonderful picture of one of your care homes with the, I think it's a combination of staff and residents saying it's outstanding. Why did they say it was outstanding? What did you do to make that experience outstanding?
It's a number of things, Ian. It's about person-centered care being at the heart of everything you do. It's about providing a responsive and effective service that meets the needs of the individual resident, and it is very much about treating people as individuals, an ethos of dignity and respect, and always recognizing that no matter how well you are doing, you can always do better, and striving consistently to embed a quality improvement ethos within that, not even home, within that care setting. You know, my forte might be care homes, but care now is delivered through so many different settings, and that's a good thing, because people need to be given choice, and if you give people choice and respond to their preferences, that will drive outstanding care in whatever setting somebody chooses to receive it.